Yo, welcome in, people, and welcome to the Avengers stream. Hopefully you guys are all doing well, man. As always, we're joined by the big dogs. We got Humo, yes. We got Martin, we got Big Steve, we got Daps, and we got Jason from JSGC. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. As always, people, make sure you guys have smashed a like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're new, and go subscribe to all these guys' channels. We got Mancunian Way, Big Steve, MCFC on YouTube and Instagram. We got Daps. I think we got Daps. I just see a fucking Jordan logo at that time, but we got Daps on Never a Foul, and we got Jason from JSTC. Make sure you guys go subscribe to everyone. But people, we've done all these shows throughout the year, right? We've been speaking about what's been going on, but we're entering serious business. This is a serious time of the season. This is where trophies are won and lost, and we're here to talk about it. First of all, just before we speak about like the Liverpool game coming up on Saturday, I want to know how people are sort of feeling going into this. Because for me, I'm sort of like, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling pretty confident about this league title, and I think there's a valid reason. 10 matches unbeaten, 5 matches clean sheet record, 6 wins in a row. I'm feeling quite confident. I want to know from you guys how you're feeling. I'll start with Daps, but obviously Daps not belong for me. Nah, bro, because you know why? I tell you why. You asked a question. You shouldn't have said that, bro. The reason is, I ask you on a Mondays, come on Mondays. Obviously, you can't make it due to personal reasons. But that means you've got to be thrown in at the deep end, Daps. You know what I'm saying? So that's why.
You know what? Right, so I still think we can win it based on the same narrative that I've had all season, and that is that when it comes down to it, we know what to do. The maddest thing is, if you look at it, the last day of the season, this season, Arsenal have got Wolves at home, right? Now, we've had Queen's Park Rangers at home. We were 2-1 down, and we came back and won it, right? We never thought we were going to be 2-1 down against Queen's Park Rangers. We never thought we were going to be 2-0 down against Aston Villa. But both times, we've come back and won it. Now, that is because we know how to do it. And Arsenal don't. Now, again, if I look at the run-up, it's pissed me off a bit the way everyone's downplaying our running compared to Arsenal's, because we haven't got an easy running, right? People will look at the fact we've got Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, Arsenal at home. Agreed, right? I'm glad we've got all those three at home. But if we look at our away games are not easy games. But here's the thing. Man City come good when there's pressure. And that's what we've got at the moment. This is pressure. Liverpool on Saturday is pressure. But this is what we need. I think if we didn't have pressure, we wouldn't be the same City. So I do think we can win it, but I'm certainly not like you, Lewis. I'm not sat here confident yet. I think within 2 weeks, I could be a lot more confident. I think if we beat Liverpool on Saturday, and then I think if Arsenal don't get a result at Anfield, I think all of a sudden my confidence will swing towards City again.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that we are going to win it. I just feel that we should be confident going into this period. We've done this before. Yeah. And I'm looking at Arsenal, and yes, City have got tricky games. I'm not saying we've got easy games, but you look at Arsenal, they've got Chelsea, they've still got Liverpool away, they've got Newcastle away, they still have to play City. I just feel like we shouldn't. I'm not saying we are going to win it, but I feel like as a fan base, this is.
We have the right to have the chest, yeah, 100%.
We have and we should be confident as this is possibly some of the best football that this football club has played all season. I know we had a good start to the season, but you've also got to understand none of the opposition teams at the start of the season knew how to handle Haaland. They now know how to handle Haaland, and we're still finding ways now to win games, and Haaland's now scoring goals. I think as a fan base, we should be confident. I'm not saying we are going to win it. Of course, Arsenal are a great side.
I think the difference is any confidence that we have as a fan base is based on the fact that we've earned the confidence, right? We have. When people say, we've done this so many times, right? Whereas Arsenal's fans, I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of their confidence is them. When someone tries to convince themselves, that's how I feel a bit when Arsenal fans talk. Arsenal fans are overconfident for a team that don't, for me, have any right. Apart this season, they have earned the right to, they are top for a reason. But they talk like they know how to do it. They haven't done this. It was a completely different squad of players that did it. So,
yeah, lads, just jump in, man. I want to know how everyone's feeling. Martin or Steve?
To be honest,
I won't lie.
It's listen, before the international break, we've been playing really, really well. Came at the wrong time for us, I think. We were just getting going again. But there's no better game for us to jump straight back into than a Liverpool game because the intensity is going to be there from the off. So it's not like we're coming back to, no disrespect, to a Leicester at home or someone like that, and we can switch off a little bit and get caught cold. If we're not on it from the off on Saturday, then we're not on it. We need to be on it. And I think Pep is going to be telling them that this week. Obviously, we've got the news that Foden's injured and Haaland might be injured. But listen, we're finally playing the football we knew we had in the team. It's finally starting to click. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched Van Persie talking with Rio Ferdinand the other day. He said the season they won the league, Fergie pulled in Scholes, Rooney and Shinji Kagawa and said, you're not passing the ball to this kid up front. If you don't pass him the ball, we ain't going to win the league and I'll drop you. And all of a sudden they clicked, started to pass him the ball. United went on and won the league. Similar with Haaland, he's been frightening. But listen, the only thing is with the City fans and the City fan bases, we've been down every possible dark corner in a title race you can put us. We've been on our knees, we've been high, we've been low, we've been shitting ourselves, we've not been shitting ourselves. So we're ready for any scenario. So if we go 2-0 down in a game, it's not panic stations for us. We've been there before. We deal with it, we get behind the team, we fight to the end and we don't panic. But I just think we've got to do our job. Forget Arsenal. They've got themselves in a position because they've played better than us and we've dropped stupid points. Forget Arsenal. Let them, their destiny will be decided by themselves. But we just got to do what we do. Last 10 games, focus, fan base together, players together, fucking Operation Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup.
You know what? I don't ever worry about the big games. The big games is never the worry for me. So when we play Liverpool, Chelsea, I know we turn up. The game I'm looking at as a major focal point here is that Brighton away one.
Well, Everton away as well, maybe?
Maybe Everton away. Yeah. Everton and Brighton are the two where I'm like, we can get there. Those are the two. We can get them.
Yeah.
Then, because Liverpool, yes, I think it will give us the confidence to bounce into the rest of the season, especially coming back where it's important on Saturday, coming off that international break with a win, because it keeps that momentum going. If we don't win on Saturday, everyone will start going, oh, the international breaks disrupted them, the injuries has disrupted them, and it'll start putting the seeds of doubt back in again. We've got to go out and put a statement out on Saturday. And I know Pep will be up for it. I've never seen Pep like this when we play Liverpool. Pep becomes like some weird mentality guy when Klopp arrives or he goes there. It's just, for some reason, Pep really has something with Liverpool. I don't know whether it's been the last 2 or 3 years, but I honestly think, I have no doubt Saturday, I do think we'll beat them. And I think we'll beat them and then their top 4. It's those tricky away ones. Because Brighton are doing so well. Everton have got Dyche. It's just those are the ones. And I don't care if they're a sneaky 1-0.
We did that last year, though, didn't we, Martin? We shit ourselves at Wolves. Wolves away, shit ourselves. It's going to be a nightmare at Wolves. Kevin De Bruyne just went, come here, let's have a bit of this, and smashed us out of the park. And it was like, and then I was saying before on a stream, West Ham away last away game of the season, we're 2-0 down at half-time. Yeah. But did we panic? No. We came back and we got a draw. Then we go to Villa on the last game. We're 2-0 down against Villa. Did we panic? No. Yeah. And then, it got us over the line. So I don't think it's a time for panicking, but we have let ourselves go a little bit. Full credit to Arsenal because they've been consistent. There was a little dip in the middle of the season where we were poor. We weren't creating chances. Haaland wasn't touching the ball. It didn't feel right. But credit to Pep and the team. Ruben Diaz coming in, a few little things. Foden coming back, a bit of form. And Haaland, we look really good. There's nobody at the minute that wants to play us. I'm telling you now.
Mm-hmm. I'm just keen to get going again. I felt like the international break, it was almost annoying because we were really getting into a flow. We were really getting into a run. It really looked like we clicked the most we've seen all season. 10 games in a row, they're unbeaten, 31 goals scored, 6 conceded. That's not the Manchester City that we saw earlier on.
5 clean sheets on a bounce, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's not the City that we saw earlier on the season that everyone was saying has gone stale and, City aren't the same as they used to be. We're a beast again. We're a beast that nobody wants to play. So I didn't want this international break to come along and disrupt us. So I'm just so eager to get back. And Steve's right, man. Liverpool I think it's the perfect game. It's the perfect game. We don't need no warm-up. Get straight back into it. And as Martin said as well, make a statement. If we beat Liverpool and put on a big performance this Saturday, that's sending shockwaves. That's sending shockwaves through Arsenal going, right, City really are going to push us right to the end. We have to stay in our game. And then they're looking at going to Anfield the following week, and it gets tough. So I'm just eager to get back into it. I want to see the lads show that form they did just before the break and just get straight back into it, man. No wasting time.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's a valid point. The way it is now is, like, I've been asked the question a few times, who's the pressure on? And I'm like, well, right now, because we play at 12:30, of course the pressure is on us. But the minute we get that game done, and if we win that game, all of a sudden the pressure shifts. And I know Arsenal only have leads, but Arsenal will carry that pressure into the next week because we know we've played Liverpool. We've got Liverpool out of the way. Mm-hmm. Then it's over to them. And they have to go. You got to remember, I don't believe Arsenal have won on the Mersey against Liverpool or Everton since 2017, right? So I think Arsenal know that. And we have to remember as well, look, Arsenal have to go to St. James's Park, which is the same gaff that last season their top 4 dreams slipped away. So they're 2 very difficult games. I think if we get Liverpool out of the way, I think that's where all of a sudden we had this conversation, Martin, on a Twitter space the other day, didn't we? And there was even people that are uber confident City going to win it, saying this Liverpool game is massive because this is a game we can't. I don't feel we can afford to let Arsenal go 11 points clear. That's the main issue with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Jace, before we move on, where are you at with this?
Pretty calm about it, to be honest. As the lads have already said, it's not an ideal time for us to have had the international break. Our last 2 home games, we scored 13 goals. We were getting into our stride. We were keeping clean sheets. We were playing with confidence. So that didn't fall kindly for us. We've seen Foden and Haaland come back potentially injured as well. Isn't ideal. But Liverpool, it's a perfect game. It's a game where we're going to raise the bar. I think if we can come out of this at the end of the 90 minutes with the 3 points, puts pressure back onto Arsenal. And I think when we're playing in the early kickoff and we're playing before Arsenal, I actually much prefer that because we're chasing Arsenal. We're 8 points behind. And I feel like the only way we're going to get them under pressure is by us clawing some of them points back. And if we're playing before them, then all of a sudden we're 5 points behind them. We know we've still got to face them. And Leeds at home for them isn't an easy game coming from the international break. The expectation is Arsenal win that game comfortably. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from that. But I'm pretty calm. I'd take it a game at a time and see where we go each match day.
Yeah, I think taking it a game at a time is probably the way to go. Because for me, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about the Leeds thing. I've come to the opinion that I now respect Arsenal so highly, and it's probably only in the last couple of weeks that I've really sort of respected them this highly this season. I don't think they're going to drop points personally against like a lower like in the league table. I think the only games that they're going to possibly drop points are against City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle. I think they're too. I now hold them in too high of a regard, and of course anything can happen on the day. But I'm not looking at Leeds. I'm not looking at Wolves or Brentford or any of these. I'm looking at only the top teams because I'm now respecting Arsenal that much. So I think there's now very few potential places for Arsenal to drop points. I think they'll beat Leeds. Personally, I think they'll dust them, to be honest with you, because I think they're a really good team, Arsenal. And I'm looking at them top games and thinking they're the games that that they could potentially drop points. Now, having said that, if they get past Liverpool and then they drop points if they get past Leeds and then they drop points against Liverpool next weekend, then things might begin to change because then the pressure's really on them. People will start to talk about, are Arsenal going to throw it? Are Arsenal going to fumble the bag? That's maybe where they might then start to drop points against the lower division teams. But I just think that there's only 4 games that I can see Arsenal potentially dropping points now, and it's in the big ones. And that's why it's so important for City to do our job. And I'm pretty confident. I think we can beat. I know we've got a terrible record against Liverpool, 1 win in the last 7. That's not great. But we're at home. We're playing a poor Liverpool side. We shouldn't have lost against them at Anfield. You know what I mean? Steve mentioned before, or Daps, one of the lads mentioned about dropping points in games where we shouldn't have dropped points. We shouldn't have dropped points against Liverpool. We should have at minimum drawn the game against Liverpool at Anfield early in the season. They're not the same team. Granted, they've got a little bit better as the season's gone on, but we should be beating Liverpool. We should be, and we should be at a level on Saturday morning where if we really want to win that game, if we really want to win that title, this team should be going out there and putting on a performance. We've seen Haaland, whether he'll be fit or not, we still don't know. Kevin De Bruyne, he's come back into form. He had a great performance against Germany for Belgium in a friendly. Rodri's obviously available. Ruben Diaz has been slamming it at the back. We are in a position now where this team needs to get together now and say, we've done this before. This is the moment that we're going for it and really send this title. And it's got to start at 12:30 on Saturday against Liverpool. It's a tricky game. But we all back that we can do it. And if we can't do it, then, we won't win the league. It's going to be a tricky one, man. Looking forward to it.
Lewis, you were spot on there. I was just writing up my notes for my preview that I'm going to put out on Friday. And City have the second best home record this season. Arsenal are the only team that's got a better home record than City in the Premier League. I was having a look at Liverpool, and I think they're sitting 4th in their home form. So looking forward to that one with Arsenal taking on Liverpool next week at Anfield, because that's where I feel like you get to see the better Liverpool side playing on that small, compact pitch with the crowd behind them. Liverpool, though, in their away form, are 13th. So they haven't performed away from home. They've played, I think, 13 games away from home in the Premier League and won just 3. So away from home, I don't think they're the same team as what you do when you get them at Anfield. So I think that's a little bit of encouragement that City can take away from the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
On that. I think you're right as well. I'm interested to see how Liverpool try and play because, look, if you look at, I think they did get a draw last season, but we've already beaten once at the Etihad this season, just after the World Cup. And I think, was that 2-1, that game? Was it 2-1?
3-2, wasn't it?
Was it 3-2? It's 1 goal. Either way, it's 1 goal. But I do think we were convincingly better than them. At no point were we in the risk. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry.
We'd have put our chances away. We'd have put 7 or 8 past that. I'm not being honest, on that night, when you look at the chances we had, I know people say Darwin had a few chances, but I honestly thought we dominated them that night quite convincingly.
I agree. I think we should have beaten them a lot more than we did. I agree, Martin.
And you think of all the worry that we all had going into that game, coming off the World Cup, we were all worrying about who's going to be available. This is not the perfect game. And it turned out to be the exact perfect game. And I think this is where it's going to work again. To me, you want a Liverpool or someone like that coming off the back of an international because they know, and like I said, they're playing first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think it's perfect.
We've got to get the job done because, like you say, if we beat Liverpool, it sends a big shot out to them, like Man City mean business. If we can get to the Etihad game, if they slip up against Liverpool, we get to the Etihad game and the gap's 2 points or whatever it is and we can beat them, that's when you know it's on. So listen, City know what they need to do. You know, Pep's going to have them in this week. You know, we know what we need to do as fans. But to be honest, it's an exciting title race. It's the end of the season where we're involved in so much yet. The next few weeks for City fans are going to be mad. FA Cup semi-final, Bayern Munich, Premier League title race. You know what I mean? These teams now, fans out there, they've got nothing to play for. So I think it's a blessing and I'm really looking forward to it. And I know it's that time of the season where it makes you a bit ill. You go in every week, you're up and down. Southampton away as well, that's a mad one. That is hanging. Saturday night, 5:30, minging. But we've been there before. Like I say, there's nothing that can get thrown at us in this title race, but we haven't overcome. To Arsenal, it's all new, but they're on a crest of a wave at the minute. They're playing really, really well, and they've got the spirit, and they're just going for it. But I'd just like to see how they react if they have a bit of a wobble, or if Liverpool do them at Anfield. I'd just like to see how they bounce back from that. It's all right bouncing back mid-season because the pressure's not that bad. You've got a big load of games ahead of you. But when you know it's so condensed and you're right on that final hurdle and you fall, it's how you get back up. And
yeah, do you know what the thing is? They like I got asked the other day by if we were to lose to Liverpool and if Arsenal then went on and beat Leeds, is the title race over? And we have to remember. And when I said it, the look on a couple of Arsenal fans' faces kind of changed when I said, of course it isn't. Because if you go back to the first time we won the Premier League, we lost to Arsenal on a Sunday. We went 8 points down to Man United, 7 games left to go. And this wasn't against Arteta's Arsenal. This was against Alex Ferguson's Man United with Ferdinand still there, with Evra still there, with Rooney still there. So with a team that absolutely knew how to get it over the line. We had 7 games to turn around 8 points, and we did it. So this is a thing that, and when I said that, the Arsenal fans kind of looked at me. I thought, yeah, you forget about this because they are honestly, when Arsenal fans talk about how confident they are, I can tell in the tone of their voice they are convincing themselves that they're that confident. But the fact is, we saw what happened when we went to the Emirates and we beat them at the Emirates because, again, they were so confident when we beat them in the FA Cup. Oh, when we take you back to the Emirates, it's going to be a completely different story. They were the same level of confidence as they are that they're going to win this league. But then, when it didn't happen, you saw what happened. Like Steve just said, he's interested to see what happens now because we saw what happened in February, right? Their arses went. Their arses completely went. Arteta's didn't, to be fair, and the players didn't, but their fans' arses all went. And this weekend, if we beat Liverpool, next weekend, the pressure on Arsenal is going to be insane. Because if they lose that game, and we've got Southampton next weekend, didn't we, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they lose that game, right, and they play on the Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we beat Southampton. They know they've got to go to Anfield and win it. Because if they don't, all of a sudden, they then know they've got to go to the Etihad and win. Because if they don't win...
Yeah, we're on them.
I think you just have to be super confident. I think the way we spoke about it in our own team, I think we know what our team's capable of. I think we know that we've clicked at the right time. And I'm kind of in disagreement with you, LB, about the games that you think Arsenal could lose or drop points in. And Steve went through it there. He said, it's awful going to place like Southampton that Saturday evening, whatever it is. But at least our players have been there. We know what's going to be thrown at us. We know what's on offer that evening. We know what to expect. I'm looking at Arsenal's fixtures list here, and I'm looking at West Ham away, a London derby, West Ham fighting for something. Arsenal never been in this position before. They don't know what that's going to feel like. Like I said earlier on the season, it's one thing to beat Chelsea at home in September. I think it's a bigger deal to beat West Ham away like we did in the second last game of the season last year when the pressure's really on. How do Arsenal handle this is all we're saying. Like I said, if we beat Liverpool on Saturday, it sends out a big shockwave. Can they handle going to Anfield and not just trying to win at Anfield in the middle of a title race with 8-9 games to go? That's what remains to be seen.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I want to get onto some injury talk and how that will impact the team. Obviously, unfortunately for us, we've had some big news coming out over the last 2 weeks. Just before we do, big up to Simon Clark, who's just become a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much, Simon. If you guys want to join Simon and the rest of the guys in the chat, then you can click the link in the description or the pinned comment, or sometimes there's a join button below the video, and help support the channel grow. We've got a $10 super chat from Dave Rocky, which interestingly has a slightly different opinion to maybe a couple of you lads. And he said, wished we had a game before the Liverpool game, just purely based on the fact I don't know what the performance, what to expect from Manchester City in performance-wise, especially with some of our injuries. The point of this season, need 100% from everyone. Does anyone else because obviously I heard Steve say it before. Does anyone else here agree with Dave that maybe we would have liked an easier game, or does everyone on the panel think that actually good to have Liverpool?
Liverpool was our first game back after the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we just look more. I think everyone's right. I think this is the game we need. We need this. I think, look, we all know how much we've missed football. We all know how much everyone's looking forward to getting to the Etihad at 12:30 on Saturday. And I think that's a good thing. The fact the last time we played at 12:30 on the Saturday was against Newcastle. We came back and won 2-0. So I'm going into this game very confident. And what I was going to say before, sorry, my daughter came in. I look at Liverpool and I look at how Liverpool play against us usually at Anfield, where they get results, right? And it's on the front foot. I don't think off the back of the Leipzig game and the Burnley game, I don't think Liverpool want to come and play on the front foot against us. I don't think that would be a wise idea. So then you're thinking, what, are Liverpool going to come and try and play possession football against us? And that's where I'm thinking, this isn't the same Liverpool. This isn't a Liverpool. And the fact of the matter is, we go to Anfield every season slightly weary. We do, because we know that Anfield is a fucking hard place to go to. Yeah. Same thing for them. They come to the Etihad, even in their best seasons, weary, knowing what we've done to them. This season, they've got to come knowing they're not in as good a form. So they're not going to be coming the confident Liverpool that I think you've seen in spells this season. But yeah, so I'm pretty confident going into this game overall. I
think where maybe Dave's coming from and other people who sort of agree with Dave is this game is absolutely enormous. If we win the game against Liverpool, I think you're going to see a lot of City fans go, you know what? We're going to fucking do this, boys. Yeah. We're going to go on and fucking win this title. But if we don't beat Liverpool, I think you're going to also, on the flip side, I think you'll get a lot of City fans who go, this ain't this season. We're not going to win it. It's Arsenal's title. And it's because of the gravity of the game, because of how important this game is, how big this game is. I just think there are some people out there who on one side say, nah, let's fucking do it. Let's get into it, because if we win the game, we can go on and win it. And there's some people who are like, I'd rather have a Leicester at home or Southampton at home. Maybe not Southampton, a team lower in the division, because then we can just get our points and then get slowly back into it. I'm sort of like, not to sit on the fence, but I understand how big the game is. I think if we beat Liverpool, I think we'll go on and win the league. But I also think if we get beat off Liverpool, I think it's going to be seriously tough. And that's maybe where some people are like, wish we would have had an easier game. But it's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be a massive game for sure. Big up Professional Idiot with a $5 donation. Says, all we have to do is steal their inhalers, LB. With his breathing, we'll sneak right in. Obviously, a little joke there about Liverpool's alleged inhaler scandal. I want to talk, before we wrap up, guys, I want to talk about the injury concerns that we have and how you guys think this could affect the team. Obviously, we all know about Haaland right now. It's sort of like we should hear about that in the next 24 hours, I would imagine. Obviously, the game's on Saturday morning. He's in Manchester. He's been to the physios. He's been to the doctors. I'd be surprised if we don't hear about Haaland tonight or tomorrow. So we're going to hear about that. Phil Foden's obviously out as well. Real shame, because he's been in some incredible form. Jace, I mean, how do you think this could impact our team? I've seen a lot of people questioning false nine, Alvarez, if Haaland's not available. You know, how do you see this playing out?
I think I'd like to see a like-for-like swap, and Haaland, if he can't play against Liverpool, Alvarez goes in as a straight swap. Foden, that's a difficult one because it just started to find his feet, and we've spoken about on previous streams what he can bring to the City team that no other player can. So without Foden there, we're just going to have to adapt our squad as best that we can. Naturally, you just think right wing, Mahrez will go in. You know, this is Riyad Mahrez heading into the business end of the season that he seemed a part of the season, that he just seems to thrive on. But I think for this Liverpool game, I can see City wanting to kind of compact the middle. So I can see a Bernardo or a De Bruyne playing out wide rather than Foden. I'm hoping that both Haaland and Foden will be back before long. We've got massive games coming up in April. We've got Bayern Munich twice, a trip to Wembley. We've got Arsenal at home as well, not to mention the game sandwich between them. So we need our squad, and we need it to be fit and firing whenever needed. And this Liverpool game is just the first of many coming up.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think Foden and Bayern away, from what I remember, one of my mates had a very similar operation a few years back. He couldn't fly for a month or two. So that's an interesting one. I haven't seen anything on it yet, but whether Foden's going to be able to actually travel abroad at all might be a question. But I think you're right. Foden's a big miss because we've seen him come back and remind us just how important he is, how direct he is. I think that's the difference on the right between him and Mahrez for me is Foden knows when to be direct, and Foden also knows when to pick out the pass. Whereas Mahrez, I think more time he's looking for the shot. So I do think we're going to miss him. But you're right, it is that time of season. It's Ramadan Mahrez as well, which usually seems to kick in a bit better. The other thing is, is everyone playing out the fact that we definitely don't see Haaland and Alvarez start against Liverpool?
I honestly think
Haaland will be fully fit. I think all the signs over the last 2 weeks about this Haaland injury point towards it not being too serious. I genuinely think that. I think
who else thinks that on the panel? Who else on the panel thinks he'll be fit?
I think he'll be fit.
I reckon he will.
Yeah, I think he'll be fit. I think we'd have heard. I honestly think we'd have heard something by now. If it was,
we've got to be careful because with a groin, if he's feeling it, do we take it on the chin and let him heal up for 2 games? Or do we risk him and lose him for 10? So I think that's the problem. But, I mean, there's definitely a serious problem because them games for Norway were big. It's qualifiers, it's Norway, he's the main man. He's got the pressure of the country on his shoulders. He's pulled out. So it's not like, I don't think City's got that power where they're going to say to him, he's a Norwegian boy, they're going to say to him, look, we need you for this. He's going to want to play for his country. I think he's got over there.
He did.
Yeah, they've got over there, and then they've looked and said, "Look, you're going to damage this here." And he's thought, you know what? He's sensible and thought, "I've got a title running, I've got a Champions League running, I've got an FA Cup running." It's just how City aren't stupid. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's been a bit quiet on that front in Manchester. We've not seen any pictures of him running about training or anything, so we don't know. But he's a massive loss because he's been kicking in gear all season. He's unreal, but the last few games he's just looked like a fucking man possessed. So that's what we need. And Liverpool, touching on Liverpool, you don't know what Liverpool's going to turn up because if you get the Bournemouth Liverpool, it gets beat 1-0. We're having that all day. If you get the 7-0 Man United Liverpool, I think Anfield played a lot into that. You know what I mean? I think they got behind them. But one thing for sure with Liverpool at City, we play into their hands a lot. They're going to get chances. Darwin Núñez, if he could finish, could have put 4 past us that game because that ball over the top cuts us open. But I just think with Ruben Diaz there, nice and calm, collected. Nathan Ake, the form he's in. Johnny Stones, watched him for England on Sunday, brilliant. I just think we've took it up a couple of levels, and I think Liverpool are on the ropes. And the last few years, Liverpool have been tough. And if we put 1 past them, they came back, put 2. When we put 1, I just don't think that Liverpool is there this season. So I think if we can start fast, like they do at Anfield, we can get the crowd behind us, proper put it on them early doors. I think if we score early doors, I think it knocks the stuffing out of them. And they've been, to be honest, they've been due a fucking hiding off us. We've let them off the hook a few times. So I'm thinking full system ahead. And
you know what, as well, I'd also add to that, Steve, is I think Pep's got to think really carefully about what he does against Liverpool. Because if you remember the game at Anfield, he didn't really get it right, in my view. He played this sort of weird right wing Cancelo with no real right winger. He didn't work. In the end, actually, funny enough, we probably shouldn't have lost the game. You know what I mean? It was a mistake from Cancelo. you know, as bad as we were and as wrong as Pep got the tactics, we should have actually got out of Anfield with a 0-0, which I think most people will probably say, you know what, happy days, take the point, get out of there. So I think Pep Guardiola's got a big decision to make.
Would you play Kyle Walker instead of John Stones because of his pace and them getting us on the counter attack, or would you stick with Stones? Because I'm thinking if we do get a bit gung ho and Diaz and the centre backs are high up the pitch, if they knock that long ball that Trent does and puts them 1-on-1 with John Stones and Nathan Ake at the back, it could be peak. Kyle Walker, yeah, but I'm just saying if we get caught, Kyle Walker on Sunday for England, that Mudryk is fast. But Kyle Walker sorted him right out. Every time he got 1-on-1 with him, he was on him. So I don't know if that's going to change.
I do 4 at the back. I'd go Ake, Diaz, Stones, Walker. I think.
So you drop a Kanji?
Yeah, I drop a Kanji, yeah.
No, interesting. I wonder to see how he does it.
I don't have an issue with Ake. Ake was immense when he played.
Akanji for me this season's not put 1 foot wrong. So I don't know.
I agree, but you got to be ruthless because if you're playing a 4 at the back, what you're going to tell me you're not going to play John Stones or Diaz over Akanji? I just can't.
100%. Yeah, with John Stones playing for England at weekend, he looks fit. So I would play Stones and I would play Diaz and I would play Kyle Walker just for that. But I'd be saying to Kyle Walker, totally different game. This I don't want you overlapping. He doesn't need to. Kyle Walker needs to play right back and stay there. Don't come inverted midfield and don't overlap. Because if he overlaps Riyad Mahrez and Mahrez loses the ball, we're in shit street. So he's got because leaving Cancelo at Anfield exposed with Salah, look how that cost us. So we just need Kyle Walker to make sure, you know, he's nice and simple there.
I think the other thing is as well that when we play Stones or Rico Lewis, the whole thing is as right back, their whole role is to invert and become that extra midfielder. But against Liverpool, we don't need to do that. We don't. This isn't a team that I feel we need to dominate the midfield against. Like, because they're not going to come here and try and dominate the midfield against us. They're not going to do that. So I don't think we need that extra body. So I think you're probably right. If you look at what we need, we probably do need Walker's pace more than we need that extra man in midfield. So yeah,
I agree. I think be solid at the back. Be solid at the back with that back 4, in my opinion, and then be brave in midfield. And people might say, what you're on about be brave in midfield. The reason you be brave in midfield is because you're leaving Rodri in there on his own. That's not saying because he can't do it. We all know Rodri can do it, but you're playing against a great Liverpool team. You're playing against a good Liverpool team. You're playing him there on his own. Normally, Pep Guardiola might want someone a bit deep. The fact is, we have to win this game. Yeah. We're not in a position where, you know, Anfield, you take a 0-0, you get out of there early in the season. We're all happy. We have to win the game. So for me, be solid at the back and be safe at the back. Play Ake left back, play Walker right back, and play Stones and Diaz at centre half. That's what I'd do. And as Steve said, I wouldn't be asking no one to invert, nothing like that. But then in midfield, I'd be brave and I'd be playing Rodri there on his own, Kevin De Bruyne, probably Gundogan, and then obviously Mahrez, Haaland if he's fit, and Jackie Grealish.
What about Bernardo Silva against Liverpool for his energy, man, in that midfield? I don't think they can live with him.
That might be the option. Instead of Mahrez on the right, you play Bernardo or De Bruyne on the right.
I can't.
That's because I was going to say Alvarez on the right.
Nah, you've got to have Alvarez, boys. You know,
I think
Mahrez.
I would have played Gundogan. I'd play Bernardo for the energy. I'd keep Gundogan on the bench, and then late on in the game, if we need to see the game out and cruise it, I'd be bringing Gundogan on late on experience. Just keep it nice and simple in the middle, nothing daft.
The only reason I say Gundogan over Bernardo is because we need to win the game. Gundogan for me is better at playing the balls through to Haaland. He's better at getting goals than Bernardo Silva. And I know the big energy that Bernardo gives, but this is where I think we might have to be brave and just say, lack that little bit of energy the big energy that Bernardo Silva gives me, but I'm going to go for it in playing Gundogan. But then obviously it is a risk because then you've not got that energy. And this is the...
Do you know what they're going to do? Do you know what they're going to do? Henderson is going to press Rodri. So Burnley did it the other day for 20 minutes. They did it okay, and then it ended. If you press Rodri out of midfield, he's the main man. If you let Rodri get the ball and turn, he starts our whole play. If you press him, then they've got no option. It goes to Diaz, it goes to Akanji, it goes wide. We start panicking, and it's whether Henderson can do that, because what he's very clever at, he just needs to be there or thereabouts Rodri, and Rodri will just knock it straight back to Ederson. I think they're going to press Rodri. That's why I just think we need someone else in midfield, maybe Gundogan or Bernardo, who can take that ball. Remember how deep he was coming, Bernardo, coming deep near the centre-backs to get the ball. So it's all right, you can press Rodri all you want, because Bernardo whips in, gets it, and then you've got an option then. You've got to go and get Bernardo. You go and get Bernardo, you leave him free. But listen,
I'll tell you what.
He's the manager and I'm not.
You'll have Grealish dropping in deep. You'll have Grealish dropping in deep to pick up the ball, because he's that one that I'll keep saying it. He's that one that I think next season is going to do what Bernardo does and drop deep, pick up the ball and run at the team. And he'll draw fouls. And ultimately, Henderson's game will be flawed then. If Grealish keeps dropping in to get the ball off of Rodri and just driving through the middle, we've seen it. For me, that's the best I've seen of Grealish this season, whenever he is driving through the middle. So the good thing is, however bad Liverpool have been this season, we're still sat here looking at this game and trying to work out how they're going to play against us, because this is what they can do.
We respect them because of what they've been with us the last few seasons. You've got to respect it. You know, we can't look at them like they're fucking shit, because they're not. They just don't turn up.
My only thing is, it's a big game. And when it's a big game, Pep goes back to his tried and tested, which is that midfield three of Kevin, Rodri, Gundo. He loves that midfield three. He absolutely adores it. And I'm kind of with you, El, but I'm not sure if he does. I'm not sure with Alvarez or Bernardo, one of them might go on the right. Because I don't actually think Mahrez will start this one. Yeah. I really don't. I honestly think if I had to put money on it now, I would probably say it's going to be Gundo, Rodri, and KDB in the middle.
But then who starts on the right? You think Bernardo
or Alvarez?
Mm-hmm. I think Mahrez is shooing. I think he played well for Algeria, and I think against Robertson, I think he can do serious damage. But this is, again, I said it 15 minutes ago. This is where Pep Guardiola has got massive decisions to make. Huge game, and he's got to. It's a fact. Simple. It's not having a go at the guy. He's got to get these tactics right. Because he didn't get it right against Liverpool at Anfield. Yeah. And there ain't no second chance here. We're running out of fixtures and we got to catch Arsenal, and he's got to get these tactics right. It's going to be an absolute mad game. I'm looking forward to it, man. Big up to everyone on the panel. Just before we finish off, is anyone else got anything to say on the Liverpool game, on the season, before we wrap up?
Nah, do you know, the only other thing I'd say on Haaland, right? In Haaland, I think comes 11:30. It'll be 11:30 on Saturday when the team sheet comes out. Haaland being on there or Haaland not being on there, I think that is either the lift or a bit of a downer, because if Liverpool's fan base look at that team sheet and see Haaland's name isn't on it, there's going to be a few of them that are going to think, we've got a chance here. But if they see that team sheet and they see Haaland's name on it, right? And I do think, look, there is a relevance to Liverpool's fan base as well. They're not in a good place at the moment at all. If we get an early goal, like Steve said, I think not just the players, but I think their fans will just they'll just turn quiet. And that's the key with Liverpool. If you can quieten down the fans, home or away, then I think you're on to something. You really are on to something. So I think Haaland's massive for this game, man. Massive.
And just on that, we did a poll in the chat a little while ago. Alvarez or false nine if Haaland's not fit. 89% of people in the stream watching, guys, are saying play Alvarez, and 11% of people are saying go back to the false nine. But again, I don't know. Maybe you'd play Kevin De Bruyne in the false nine there, or Gundogan. Obviously, Bernardo could play as well. But yeah, a lot of confidence there for Alvarez if Haaland doesn't make it. Thank you very much to the panel for coming on. Martin, what have you got coming up on the channel, mate?
Tomorrow, Liverpool preview. We're trying to get to 2,000 subs by the end of the season, so any help would be appreciated. And and we also did a good one on Monday night about the facts on Manchester City agendas.
Oh,
down quite well.
Oh, that's a late night stream, isn't it? That's one to watch at late night, mate. When you're thinking, I need to go deep on a YouTube.
We just went and put a few facts out there, about
Rafa style.
Having no fans, no history, this sort of thing, The fun
It must have
stuff.
been a long show, mate. If you're talking about every gem we can have up.
Yeah, man. Big up Steve again for coming on. We obviously had the Big Steve show as well this week. Last week, sorry. Steve, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I got a couple of previews tomorrow with AGT on the Liverpool channel. Gonna get one on my channel. I think City are doing something Friday. Match build up or something on Friday. I'm on the wall for that, and then on Saturday I should be on the pitch. No, I'm not Manchester. I'm on the pitch. I think pitch side live or something, or match day live. So we'll see. If you don't see me on the pitch, I've said something and I've been fucked off.
You're not allowed to swear on the pitch, you know, on Saturday.
No, hey, do you know how hard that is for me, Martin? When I work for City on Sky, how professional I have to be with all the swearing I do.
We have the big mic ready for you, Sid.
I'll have the pink mic. Yeah, the pink mic is my mic. So when you get up further up in the City rankings, you get the blue mic. But at the minute, I'm on the pink one.
End of the season, Brad. You'll have it. Daps, what's going on, man? In fact, I'm coming on to Never a Foul tomorrow. Is that right? Confirmed?
Yeah. So we've got a preview with the Coppish lads. I've got a preview on Coppish in half hour. Show on Never a Foul tonight at 10 p.m. I think, where we're going to be doing. It's another one of them ones. I'm so bored of them. Been doing them for the last 10 days. Comparisons and player ratings and all that crap. But yep, if Never a Foul, come over and give your opinion on. I think Zinchenko's on there again. This Zinchenko-Ake argument that's going on at the moment. Brilliant. And the funniest thing is with Arsenal fans is, do you know that they're now trying to say that, you know, it's Arteta that's made Zinchenko the player that he is. And I'm like, oh, he's doing it completely different at Arsenal. I'm like, of course he is. Of course he is.
Yeah, humble. Absolutely humble, man. And James, what's going on, mate?
I've got my preview for the Liverpool game coming out hopefully Friday morning. And over the international break, I've been doing my loan watch as well, keeping an eye on all the youngsters that have headed out on loan, a 4-part series which has been completed, which was a lot of fun. So if you want to go and check it out, then do feel free if you've got some spare time.
Happy days. Me, Hugh, and Jordan have got loads of stuff coming out tomorrow. We'll start our Liverpool previews and all that sort of stuff. And Hugh's joining me for the watch along, man. This Saturday, innit, Hugh, man? We're gonna get a big watch along on Saturday, so make sure you join us for that one. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the stream. It's been a pleasure as always. Avengers assemble. Got a big game for us on Saturday. Let's go win it. 3 points. Let's go win this title. See you later.